Did you know that there are animals that can cheat death? Welcome to Nation of WoW TV. Today we'll look at the top 10 animals that can resurrect after death. Stay until number 1. You'll really believe in life after death. Vampires. Zombies. What do these have in common? Yep, they live on even after death, and the animals we'll see today can do just that. These creatures can move on even without a brain. They can strike even when decapitated. They'll jump back to life even after being frozen for months. They'll wiggle even if you cut them into pieces. Just what kind of creatures are we talking about? Let's start with number 10. The tardigrade. This microscopic animal looks like it's a sci-fi movie character. Just look at that scrunched up face, that tubby body, those legs with wriggly claws. No wonder it's also called a water bear or moss piglet. But despite being small, this creature has some pretty fantastic powers that can make the X-Men envious. It's almost impossible to kill a tardigrade. Drop it in boiling water. Trap it in an environment that is minus 200 degrees Celsius. Crush it under something heavy. Blast it with radiation. Don't feed it or give it water for years. Send it to outer space, and it'll still be okay. How does the tardigrade do this? Its body responds to its environment so that it can adapt. It can go into what scientists call CRYPTOBIOSIS. This means its metabolism slows down to 0.01%. Think of this as an extreme form of hibernation that can last up to 10 years. Its body produces a sugary gel and antioxidants to protect its vital organs. When it senses that everything's okay again, it'll wriggle back to life. Scientists are looking at the tardigrade for clues on cryonics or cryogenics, the science of freezing humans and bringing them back to life. If you think the tardigrade is indestructible, you won't believe what number 1 can do. Number 9. The octopus. Do you love sashimi? For a one-of-a-kind sashimi experience, don't go to Japan. Go to South Korea and order its popular delicacy called sonnakji, aka freshly sliced octopus. Look forward to lively, slimy, squirmy tentacles attempting to slither out of your mouth as you try to chew or swallow them. You can't get any fresher than that. Before you turn away in disgust, let's talk about octopus biology. Octopuses are considered really smart creatures, and most of their thinking are done not through their brains, but through the neurons in their tentacles. If they were humans, they'd be the best multitaskers in the world, because each tentacle has a mind of its own. This is why each tentacle can still wriggle independently, even if it's been cut off from the main body, and it can move up to an hour after it's been sliced and diced. So, are you up for some sushi? Number 8. The wood frog. When you think of winter, you'll probably think of fur and huge animals. The last thing you'll think of is a small, thin-skinned amphibian. But the wood frog is another animal that can freeze like a block of ice for months, and then jumpstart its own body. Other reptiles and insects can withstand the cold, but the wood frog can survive for weeks at a time with 2/3 of its body frozen solid. This is because it has proteins that can suck water out of its body, including its brain and eyes. As a result, its heart stops, its muscles are immobilized, it even stops breathing. While it dries up, its liver creates a syrupy substance that protects its vital organs from being completely frozen or turning into icicles. When the weather becomes warm, water seeps back into the frog's body, and it can hop back into existence. It can go through this cycle each year. Now that's one cold-blooded frog. Number 7. The regenerating flatworm. Have you ever heard of Doctor Who? This TV show's main character regenerates when he's about to die. This ability to cheat death is just like the regenerating flatworm. Cut this creepy crawly lengthwise or crosswise, and you'll get 2 separate worms wriggling at you like they're saying, "Hey, we're okay." Experiments have shown that this blob's parts can immediately wriggle away from each other when the original body has been cut up. Even the head will just do its own thing. If you cut the flatworm into 4 pieces, you'll have 4 whole flatworms within 3 weeks. Some scientists believe that a flatworm has limitless regeneration ability. If you don't want your place to be overrun with creepy crawlies, don't cut that worm. Number 6. The turtle. A turtle can dive deep down into the ocean, so it regularly puts its heart through the ringer. Its heart can survive with minimal oxygen for 5,000 hours. What does this have to do with living after death? Well, a turtle's heart has evolved into a super heart. It stores its own oxygen. it regulates on its own, so it doesn't rely on the brain to function. So, even if the heart is pulled out of a turtle's body, or if the turtle's head is cut off, the heart will go on beating for a very long time on its own. One study showed that the heart continued to beat for up to 5 days. How's that for turtle power? We're halfway through. Here's a clue at our top choice. Can you guess what it is? Number 5. There's a reason why the saying, "run like a headless chicken," is popular. It's because it's true. We're talking about a phenomenon that goes beyond the muscle spasm that automatically happens when you cut off a chicken's head. A true headless chicken is very rare, but it has happened. In the 1940s, a farmer in Colorado owned a chicken named Mike, which lived for 18 months without a head. The farmer was supposed to eat Mike and had cut off his head, but Mike continued to walk around and preen and even attempted to crow, or at least gurgle. Modern scientists say that this was possible because part of Mike's brainstem remained, so something was still telling his body to breathe and move, and his heart to pump. Mike was fed milk and water through its neck with the use of an eyedropper. He became a popular sideshow act until one day, he accidentally choked on a corn kernel and died. Talk about fate playing a cruel joke. Number 4. The fruit fly. Here's another animal that's okay living without a head. Zoologists have been studying fruit flies for a while now. They've discovered that female fruit flies can preen, fly, and walk even when they've been decapitated, and they can do this for several days. How can this happen? It's all about biology. Female fruit flies have a spare brain in their chest, which takes care of the mundane things like breathing. They also have a backup pair of eyes in their kidneys, so they can still react to light. So, life goes on for these female flies, except for one thing. They don't like male flies that want to mate with them. Why? They don't have extra antennas that allow them to hear the male fly's mating chirp, so now they think the males are just pests. Ouch, that's gotta burn. Number 3. The snake. This case is the reverse of Mike the chicken. Remember how Neville Longbottom became a hero when he killed Nagini by cutting off the gigantic snake's head and it burst into nothingness? Well, real life doesn't work quite that way. When you cut off a snake's head, there's a big chance that the head will not only hiss at you, but bite you. Why, you ask? A snake has heat-sensitive pits on its face that detect threats. These pits remain active hours after the head is cut off. So if you see a snake's head, stay away from it, because this zombie snake will still go for your brains. Or at least your leg. Number 2. TURRITOPSIS DOHRNII. Try saying TURRITOPSIS DOHRNII 3 times. Okay, let's just use its common name, the immortal jellyfish. Throughout human history, people have been obsessed with immortality. Whether it's the vampire that lives forever, the queen who bathes in a tub full of blood to preserve her beauty, the search for the philosopher's stone, or the fountain of youth. People have written, conducted experiments, and looked for ways to turn back time and live forever. The immortal jellyfish can do all those things with its body. This small, transparent jellyfish can reverse its aging and heal itself. When it's hurt or sick, it can literally go back in time by rearranging its cells to a younger state. The young cells can then grow older all over again. Scientists believe that the immortal jellyfish can do this indefinitely. Talk about being forever young. Number 1. The cockroach. There's no doubt that this vermin should be exterminated. It carries so much bacteria that even a single one is a walking infestation on its own. But because it's a very resilient creature, it takes a lot to actually get rid of a cockroach. Anyone who has encountered a cockroach knows that it can move very fast, so it's hard to catch. It can withstand extreme temperatures. It can hold its breath underwater for up to 40 minutes. It can live for a whole week without its head since it can breathe through holes in its body. It only dies because it can't eat or drink anything. It adapts so well to its environment and against chemicals that scientists are experimenting if it can survive a nuclear apocalypse. What do you think? Do you think only cockroaches will live after a nuclear bomb? There you have it, our 10 animals that can resurrect after death. And as a bonus, here's one more. Did you know that there's a moth that doesn't go through the usual caterpillar, cocoon, moth cycle? The Arctic woolly bear moth survives the long cold winters of its environment by hibernating as a caterpillar. During this period, its heart stops beating, and it even stops breathing. It produces an antifreeze-like substance that protects its body from becoming ice crystals. It spends several seasons this way. Only when it feels it has enough nutrients will it go through its pupal and adult transformation. Which animal do you think will live after a nuclear disaster? Which animal do you think should top the list? Share your thoughts, and don't forget to click the like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. If you think these immortal animals are great, then check out our video of the top 10 wild animals that saved human lives.